What's good, everybody? What's up? So, and the sun ain't even coming up. That's crazy. It is 5:10 in the morning right now. You know what I'm saying? And I've been up for like an hour, so um, I decided to meet y'all here, come here before y'all, you know, kind of get ahead of the wave, so to speak. So yeah, so I'm here. I hope everybody wake up on the right side of the bed, wake up feeling good about life, you know, and ready to take on the day because it's important. So yeah. So what are we gonna be talking about today? Because it's gonna be interesting. As you already know, it's always interesting. And we kind of got, and it's crazy because ever since we had this full moon, such an extreme full moon, we got a little bit thrown off. Like it's been a little bit off. Technology don't want to work right. You know how things go. We used to it by now. So I guess this morning, because I'm still trying to figure out how to bring the video in because I'm about to take mine in a different direction. Some undeniable type thing, because what I'm learning is that um, a lot of these new spiritual leaders, like that are coming on the scene, they're kind of going in alignment of that brother panic type vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's they figured out how to use the spirituality to get paid. So the thing about that is that it shows you where authenticity is coming from more often than not. Because once you start moving for that check, it shows. You got to be online. You got to be in everybody's face all the time. And then on top of that, you'll start hearing a lot of the same messages being repeated over multiple outlets. And what that means is that they're sitting up here studying each other and they're just repeating what they heard somebody else say that somebody else might not know them yet. So I can take your information, which the ether may have given you, and then present it to you as if it's me in order to create more of a revenue stream. There's a lot of that going on now. So I say all that to say that this is the type of environment that you get with the internet. You know what I'm saying? So this is a thing that's not to be taken lightly because you know because we're all out here looking for the best avenue to bring about a certain existence for our life and our people. So because we're out here doing that, we're more prone to be open to a lot more things, especially since so much of the AI has entered into our private section of life. See, before, to get stuff like this, you have to go see a reader. You have to go to a seminar, to a convention, to this or to that. You had to leave your house and go. So you left your private world to go into the public to get a lot of this information. But now the public world has entered into your private life. A lot of us have these devices that we can talk to, and it does things such and such. Turn on the lights. Such and such. Turn the air to 72 degrees. We've allowed the public world to enter into our private domain. And as a result of that, we're prone to things that really shouldn't even be there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it exposes everybody and all of us at once. So I'm only saying this to say to be careful to what you're ingesting, especially during this time, because there's going to be a lot of tricks that are trying to be played against the only people that really matter in this story. I know. Here you go with all that stuff again. Yeah, I'm gonna keep free. I'm gonna keep. It is what it is. You don't mess around and let me figure it out. They don't mess around and let me figure out what's good. You know what I'm saying? With me and my people, and like what's been going on, what I've been seeing in my life, and why. Like the questions I've been having, they're pretty much getting answered. You know what I'm saying? So in this hour, paying attention to what you're ingesting is going to be important, because there's going to be a lot of spiritual gurus popping up out of nowhere. They're going to be talking so good about life, and really going to feel like you're in alignment with these people. But you still have to take inventory yourself. because it's important to gauge yourself, where you headed, how far you've come since you began. You know what I'm saying? All of the questions that need to be answered, they got to be answered, in tandem. So continue to do your due diligence. You know what I mean? Continue to do your due diligence with everybody that you come across, and make sure that they're giving you something that can be edifying. Now, today, since I had all these delays, I'm always having delays. This shit crazy. Pretty soon it won't be like that. But today we are going back into our understanding of this financial realm and what that means into today's hour. Okay, because it seems like I don't know. It just seems like the more conflict is popping up on us, the less we're beginning to understand. Like there's so many things happening all at one time that I say this, I especially say this to my people that I talk to a lot, that if you're not able to compartmentalize it mentally, then a lot of these things, they'll just fly right by you. You won't think to pick them up and use them as a certain type of breadcrumb. It won't make sense. So here's what I want y'all to do. Okay, we're going to start like this. Do an exercise. We're going to compartmentalize the brain. So what I mean by this is that this is going to be a visual exercise. And this is just only what I've done for myself. There's no science to this. You can use it if you want. You don't have to use it, whatever. But this is what I do. First, you start by breathing. And I want everybody to and you can write this stuff down because it's going to take time to do. So you want to begin the practice of building yourself up to 100 breath meditation. Okay? You can start with 10 breaths. You can start with 20 breaths. Whatever you want to start with, however you feel. You want to get yourself up to 100 breath meditation. Now, some people may want to go further. Now, there's a practice called breatharian, you know what I'm saying, where they don't eat, they don't drink any water. All they do is breathe air. They breathe oxygen. But the way they're breathing the air and the quality of the air they're breathing in is important. However, we're not going to go down that road right now. This is just about compartmentalizing the mind. Okay? So we're talking about gathering ourselves up in order to be able to do 100 breath meditation. And that's only to be able to compartmentalize the mind in order to warehouse more information. Because, see, that's the issue. When we go through school, they teach you how to narrow the mindset. They tell you that most of the brain is useless. What they tell you, like junk cells or whatever, that you don't really need all that part of your brain matter. You only use 5% of your brain. That's all a lie. When it comes down to you melanated people, that is a lie. Okay? Again, everything in this reality is about bringing the original people down to the frequency of everybody else. It is not the other way around, because they cannot gain momentum. It is always about bringing the original people down to the frequency of everybody else. That's the only way this shit works. You feel what I'm saying? So, when it comes down to the melanated people, 5% of your brain being used is not the truth. Okay? So first we have to, in order to compartmentalize the mind, you have to understand what you're holding, what you're capable of, because it won't make sense if you don't. Understanding the sciences of the quadrants of the brain, that's important, because our brains have been studied. Understanding the role of the pineal gland, that's important inside of the mind, because these things alone awaken more than 75% of brain usage. We got to wake it back up. We've been lulled to sleep. And by lulling to sleep, that means shutting down of the higher brain functions, higher brain activities. Okay? The higher dimensional realities that we once existed in. Okay, so now, in order to achieve this 100 breath meditation, you want to first go internally. This always going to take you back inside. See, these messages that you hear, that they try to make blanket over everybody, it's only talking about the original people. We're the only people that can do magic in this world. Everybody else has to do a bastardized version of. Here's an example. If you want to do locomotion, okay, what do they study in order to get locomotion? The body. Because the body is alive and the body is already in a locomotion state. Okay, so you study the body. You put wheels, you put door to access for energy to access the inside. Then you have to put fuel, just like food. Okay. Then it has to breathe. That's why you have an air filter to the engine, because it has to breathe. But it also needs the ability to think higher a little bit. So you give it a computer, not a big computer like what the military get. You get a small computer. So that way that computer handles normal functions. Gas regulations, emissions, any damages, it reports it, this, that, and the third, stuff like that, okay, and location. Okay, so you get your computer, but it's literally made up like a functioning, living locomotion body. That's why you see a lot of these cars, some of them look like cats, some of them may have the eyes of a this, some of them look like this. When you look at it from a certain angle, it looks like a snake, or it looks like this, or look like that. It's all designed after nature. Okay, so when it comes down to that, you have to look at your mind in the same perspective. You feel me? It all has a design. Things out here in this world are molded after the mindset of the original people. They have to be, because there's no other reality that really exists outside of the reality of the original people and the people that try to make you believe that there's any other reality outside of that. Okay? Again, we're talking about compartmentalizing the energy in the mind. Because I get a lot of these conversations, and like when I get a lot of these conversations like this, people come to me and they say, "Well, I don't really follow along. I don't really understand what you're talking about." And that's cool. You know, that's fine, because everybody has their own level. But the reality is this: when you're dealing in a conversation that's speaking to you, we're jumping dimensions. So when you think about it, you're going from the third dimensional reality into a spiritual perspective. From a spiritual perspective, we're going into a mental perspective. Mental, we're jumping back into the 3D to go back into the mental. From the mental back into the spirituals. From the spiritual back into the 3D. Okay, so we're going, and then you go fifth dimensional to pull quantum theories and ethereal magic back into the realm. So all of these things are happening at one time, which is multiple languages being spoken at once. So a lot of people say, well, I can't understand. This is why it's necessary to compartmentalize the mind. Okay? So the first 25 breath sequence. Now, why I say you start where you want to start. For the first 25 breath sequence, and this is going to be very interesting, because I've been doing this for a while. So like, I thought, people just doing this, but people don't. What you got to understand is about our breath. Normally, we only breathe in about maybe 10 to 12% of our full lung capacity. Is what every breath we take, they're always shallow. And we've developed ourselves to live like that, and to be like that, and to exist in that way. The shallow the breath, when you take a shallow breath, that means that the full body is not being oxygenated on every breath. Okay? Which also lets you know that you're really not taking a full breath. We're so on go. Have you ever stopped and looked at how a dog or a cat breathes? They're at rest. Most of the times they're at rest. So when you see them breathing, they're always taking a long, deep breath. You see their actual stomach cavity moving in and out. Most of us, we're so on go, we're so tense, and we're so stressed that we're breathing into the upper portion of our chest, and we release it before we get the full expansion. So, a full breath. When you breathe in, your diaphragm should expand. That's what's going to make this exercise so interesting. You'll start out thinking about the breaths that you take. So maybe the first 10 to 15 breaths, you'll be thinking about those. And then after about 10 to 15, you're going to go into this space. Okay, it's just like you feel like you want to go to sleep, but not quite. That's how you know you're beginning to cross over into the other realm. See, the 100 breath meditation is going to unlock the pineal gland to allow you to be able to see in alternate realities. Okay? This is a eumelanistic practice. Not pheomelanin. Eumelanin. Like the trees. Okay? It's very interesting. So, the first 25 breaths is really going to be focusing on the 3D realm and opening the door to the newer reality. That's where you want to focus your first 25 breaths. Okay? Focusing on the 3D realm, meaning what? You have to allow yourself to leave the 3D behind. It doesn't mean that you're going to die or anything like this. It means that you're allowing yourself to release the grip that the 3D physical world has on the mind all the time. That's very important. Because in higher dimensions, you cannot take these things with you. There's nothing physical you're going to take with you into a higher dimension. It doesn't work that way. In higher frequencies, these things all around you are useless. Your car, your money you got in the safe back there, the paintings on the wall, they're useless. They come from an ethereal place, but they're useless in the spiritual dimensions because they have no tangibility. So you have to shed of things. What was Jesus telling everybody to do? He said it's easier, listen, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to get into heaven. Why? Because he refuses to release the control over physical things. He won't do it, so he cannot elevate. He becomes entrapped in the third dimension. So all y'all out here talking about money is king and making money, everything, making it cash, everything, and these dollars, everything, you're going to understand what that means in the coming future. They refuse to let go of what they think they own. Not even understanding that you don't own none of that. You don't own none of that shit. I guarantee you, and I'll show you. Everybody. Your cars, you don't own that. Your house, it's not yours. You're leasing it from the state. You're leasing it from the Fed. It's not yours. You don't own anything. That's why the Bible tells you to give it all back, because you don't own anything. So what does that mean? Compartmentalization of the mind. We just spoke spiritually, physically, and mentally. In order to understand where the conversation is going to go, you have to compartmentalize your mind. Develop yourself in these different aspects of the third dimension. Then these conversations will have more value to you. Then you'll begin to understand more why you won't just get on here and just try to start showing all these receipts. All that's fine. You can give people all these receipts, but you're not giving people no solution. You're just showing them a bunch of receipts that you found online. That's cool and all, to make people aware that this stuff is going on. But first, you're not telling them why it's going on. So all these speakers out here, they're not telling you why this stuff is happening. And they're also not giving you the solution to fix it or to take yourself away from it. They only tell you what's going on. Then they get exalted to these high magnitude places because they're showing you the paperwork. But they're not telling you why it's happening. And they're also not telling you what to do about it. Now, you continue here. We're going to talk about why all this stuff is happening and what to do about it. And I guarantee you, in less than a year's time, all your popular people are going to be telling you why this is happening and what to do about it. We got to pay attention to what's going on around us. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's more going on at stake here. Many are called, very, very few are chosen. Many are called, many sound good, many sound like they're giving you what it's really about. But the few that are chosen, they get taken out. Kevin Samuels. Now all of a sudden we got all these female gurus that's telling y'all about relationships. After this man gone, the little white girl, Kendra G, this, that, and third. All these people coming forward now, they want to talk about relationship stuff now that Kevin Samuels is gone. After he destroyed them already, now they want to be the ones that's talking about it as women to women. Make that make sense. How is a woman supposed to understand a man listening to a woman? Interesting. All right, now, 25 breath meditation. Here you go. The first 25 is for exiting the 3D reality. All these people out here, they're gonna listen, they're gonna watch from, behind the scenes, they're gonna watch from off the thing, they ain't gonna press click into the thing because they don't want you to gain no popularity. But you notice why I tag. We got to turn this thing up because it's me. I'm here. You feel me? So let's make this make sense. The first 25 is to open the dimensional portal, gateway. You feel me? Those are your first 25 breaths. When you take those full breaths, now mind you now, when you're breathing in, you want to breathe in through the nose, okay? You're taking a full breath. We're doing a full sequence. You want to breathe in through the nose, into the diaphragm. So your stomach cavity or your abdominal cavity, you should see it rise as it fills with air to the diaphragm. The diaphragm is pulling everything down. So your lungs should get a full expansion of the breath. Okay? That's one. Now when you release it, you release that same breath through the mouth. In the nose, out the mouth. That's one. In the nose, out the mouth. That's two. You understand? And you want to do that in a sequence of 25 times. Before you get to 25, you're going to stop counting. That's what's going to happen. You're going to keep breathing, but you're going to stop counting. I guarantee you. And then your mind is going to start to wander. Okay? That's how you know you're going towards the pineal door. See, when you breathe, when you fill your body with oxygen, it lifts the life source from the ethereal place or from the seat of the soul, which for a lot of you, that's in your lower intestinal tract. That's the great dragon. So when it's down in the seat of the soul, that's how you're easily to be controlled by sex. You're easily to be controlled by lower vibrational music. You're easily to be controlled by lower vibrational food. And you're easily to be controlled by lower vibrational parasites. You feel me? So a lot of you having problems that are in the lower regions is because your soul spark is sitting in the seat of your soul. It's sitting in the seat of your digestional tract. Okay, and it needs to be arisen. However, once you begin to fill your body with the pure oxygen, which begins to turn into ether from within when you're breathing correctly, that's a whole nother conversation. That oxygen or that air, that life force will begin to lift the ethereal force inside of the body up towards the head. Okay, so your consciousness, which is sitting down low in most people, that's why people are so devious towards each other. That's why you see all this what a woman don't even want, she wants your man. This dude, he wants your girl. All these single women, he wants your girl. All these single men, she wants your man. Because that's lower vibrational frequency. That's the frequency to keep you in that same space of lower vibrational frequency. You feel me? So the parasites operate by making you go towards activities that keep you in the lower vibrational space. It's a routine. So when you're doing these meditations, it's going to lift your consciousness towards the pineal gland. The way that you'll know that you're headed towards it is because you'll stop counting, like I said, and your mind will start drifting into random thoughts. Now, the reason why this happens, because you got to understand the brain is a tuning fork. Okay? So its job, your mind's job, is to pick up vibrational frequencies all around you in the ether, in the universe. So if there's a broadcast coming through a certain analog signal, you'll start thinking about a certain song. Okay? You pick it up, you let it go. You pick it up, you let it go. Your mind starts drifting because your consciousness is finally aware of how your mind is working every day, all day. It's picking up signals. Some of them get let go. Some of them held on to. Some let go, held on to. It's a never-ending factory. Now your consciousness is coming towards your brain. You can see it because you're drifting. Okay? Now, once you get to this space of drifting, which is normally happens around maybe like between 10 to 15 breaths, you'll start drifting. You just keep drifting. Keep breathing, but keep drifting. Now, for the more seasoned person, this will be the moment where you take and focus on the breath, and you focus on the breath coming in the body and then exiting the body. That's when you focus on the breath, the actual wind, because your mind is drifting. So in order to count, you're going to have to focus on the wind coming in and the wind leaving. And the wind coming in and then the wind leaving. You have to focus there at around 10 to 15 breaths. Now, as you're nearing towards the 25th breath, you're going to start to feel as though the world around you and your physical body is going to become darkened. Look, like this. You have a physical body, but the awareness of the physical body is beginning to leave because you're coming to the door to cross over into the pineal area. Okay? This is for the 25th breath. Mind you, now we're doing 100 breath meditation. This is only 25. We only at 25. You understand? So you're coming to the door of the pineal gland to begin to cross over into the fourth dimensional space. Very interesting. Okay? So now we're on breath 26. And don't think that you're going to easily get to breath 25 and cross over with ease. It doesn't work like that. For most of you, it's going to take a lot of practice to even get past 10. Because you're not used to breathing like that. That's A. So it's going to take time to get used to a full breath cycle. You know what I'm saying? Then after that happens, then you have to take the time to still the mind, to navigate the mind. Because a lot of people get caught up in the thoughts that they're having. You get caught up in them thoughts and then you're gone. Squirrel, 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 you're gone. Squirrel, you're gone. Now you're up, moving around. You don't forget all about the meditation. Squirrel, squirrel. That's going to happen to a lot of you over and over and over. Get frustrated because it's going to happen. So get frustrated with it because that frustration is what's going to push you through it. Okay, so you have to keep practicing this until you get to that 25 and then you feel it. You understand, man, okay, I'm coming to the pineal door because my thoughts are all around me, but I'm focusing through. Now everything is starting to darken. Takes time. If you're going to be doing this every day, at least twice a day, well, no, not twice a day. I would say just do it once a day. Once a day, especially if you're starting out as a beginner. Once a day, see how many breaths you can get through. Then come back the next day, do more. So keep practicing until you get up to 25. Now, once you get to the 25, then it's going to shift because the world around you or the world within the mind, because now you're sitting in the mind's eye. So you're looking at the world through the mind's perspective. Everything is going to begin to darken. What are you coming up on? What do you have? What's housed in your brain cavity? You have the brain, and the brain is responsible for the signals of the awakened mind and the subconscious mind, which the subconscious mind is about 90% of what goes on in your brain. 10% is the awakened area. You see how the school do you? Oh, we're only using 5% of our brain. See how they do? Yeah, the mankind genetic hybrid creature is only using 5% of their brain. That's called mankind. But man, no, it doesn't work like that. Man, when he's illuminated, is using between 60 to 80% of the brain capacity. Okay? And the further we go back up the evolutionary scale, the more brain mass we use. So what's going to happen here is, like we were talking about in earlier days, people talking about their powers and stuff coming online, okay? Where they don't understand where it's going to be coming from. So that the so-called powers that are going to be coming online is only higher brain function. It's higher usage of the subconscious mind. Well, how does that relate in a 3D? So what happens is this. Now, mind you, now we're still talking about the 100 breaths, okay, meditation. But it's important to understand and to know how the mind works within the eumelanistic man and woman and child. These things are studied. See, for me, I don't have to sit down and read a whole bunch of books on my people because I'm me. So the information, if I go seeking the information, is going to come directly to me because I'm me. That's why the Bible says, seek and ye shall find. Okay, they say don't use the Bible as written by this, but you got to understand the codex in the Bible to understand who's supposed to be using it in the first place. Anyway, the reality says is that for me, the powers are going to come because the ability to grow to be giants, 10 to 12 feet tall, Like what the Europeans and the Spanish found when they came over here, the Moors, the Africans, the Europeans, the Spanish, the ones that came to conquer and invade, the Mongolians, when they got over here, they found us 10 feet, 8 feet tall, 7 feet tall, 10 feet tall. Why? Because our genetic structure was more than a double-strand helix. The double-strand helix is the animal gene. The double-strand helix is the genome that you can control. It's under a control dynamic. See, the world has been spread under a bunch of lies, man, because the majority of the world is eumelanated. Okay? The majority of the population of the world is eumelanated. It is not pheomelanin, like they would have you to believe. Okay? It's not. So they want to lay this blanket over the world that only talks about them and uplifts them, but it's not reality. The two-strand helix is relative to created being that is utilized for a certain type of slave mentality type labor type issue. They were not created original of the earth. They were created secondary. This is important to understand. So every time they want to present some information to you, they want to tell you they're telling you about themselves. Okay? Anything that's derogatory, they're still telling you about themselves. They just aim it towards certain groups of people, so now you think it's them. But they're only telling you about themselves. They're so young, they can only tell you about themselves. Why? Because they have no idea where we come from. They weren't around. You understand? We have only allowed ourselves to be reduced under a spell. And now it's time to bring ourselves back up into the light. So, the eumelanistic principality of powers coming online is when you have a 6, 8, or 12-strand DNA helix. Deoxyribonucleic acid helix. 6, 9, or 12-strand. Okay? Helix DNA. And it continues further, but that's into a whole nother perspective. Okay? That's when you go from materializing and dematerializing at your own will. That's a whole nother conversation. That our people are capable of doing these things. But see, look, let me show you, or let me put it in your mind's eye of exactly what I mean. In the beginning of all of this happening, of our people being reduced and being brought to this certain place, the world, okay, the world was knocking here to get in. Everybody wanted in. Now, in a couple of days, you're gonna see people try to tell you that this in the ancient times, America was a melting pot and all this other type of stuff. Don't believe the hype, okay? Don't believe the hype. And the reason why I say don't believe the hype is because to this day, there are nations all over the world that cannot understand English to say they like. They can't understand English to say they like. Okay? So this was not a melting pot. It wasn't. This place was overran with millions and millions of indigenous, Indian, because America is India superior. That's how you have the West Indies. You got to go look at the maps from the 1500s. Okay? Indigenous people that were holding 6, 9, 12-strand DNA code. Living for thousands of years. See, they don't want to tell you about that. That's why they start that Bible in a certain place. See, when you understand what's going on here, it makes sense. All of the information, all of our information that we have gathered over centuries, way before a white man ever showed up, way before a Caucasian ever came on the map, because they're not even that. Their names are stolen. They have no home. They have no origin. That's why they have to go around the world consuming other people's property, consuming other people's lives, acting as if they're somebody else, taking from other people because they have no origin. There's no origin. They were taken to an island and created and then spat all over the land. There's no origin. And the people that they originate from, okay, when you go to South Africa and you see the largest population of albino people in the world, it's because that's where the Moors, when they landed here from space. Look, the truth is stranger than fiction, always. Those are the people that they blended with when they landed here from space. Okay? The Africanistic type people that they saw on that land. Not only the Africans, because you have to understand what's going on in this land, but also the highly intelligent hybrid or the highly intelligent ape man. True, stranger than fiction, man. I'm telling you, man. Go look in the historic archives in Russia and you'll be surprised at what you find originated those people. Why they have all that hair all over them like that. Why they got the sideburns that's just as thick as the beard, and the sideburns go up into their head and it's like one round monkey. Like, you don't understand. I'm telling you, like, you don't understand what's going on in this world. We don't get it yet. So your favorite podcasters will come to a channel like this and gather information and run back to you with a bunch of documents that won't take you anywhere. You'll spend an hour and a half to 2 hours listening to this, and you'll feel like you've got nowhere. Does that remind you of something? Maybe church? Okay? So this is the cycles that we're in. Mind you now, we're still on the 100 breath meditation journey. Okay? So you got to understand the hijack. There's been a hijack here. The world has taken and dispersed our entire way of life. Everything we've gathered, everything we've brought, because we are the original people of the land. We belong to the land. Period. We are the land. And it's not going to get any better until we take our place in this world like we're supposed to be. Rulership. Higher authority. Not this degrading type of lifestyle they want to present about us to the world so bad. Not that. We are of higher authority and higher perspective, and we don't understand that. We got our women running around here, running all over the world, sleeping with all these different type of nations and this and they think that this is a sport. But you don't see other women doing that like that. Yeah, you may have, you know what I'm saying, your intermingling here and there. But for the most part, no. Don't you know that over 75% of Caucasian Americans have never lived around or come in contact with black people? And we outnumber them? That shows you something. This mixing is only happening in certain places. It's not happening everywhere. It's not a thing everywhere. Asians, you may see a few intermixed families, but for the most part, you don't see no Asians. Asians gonna stick with Asians. The Hindu Indians, they gonna stick together for the most part. Yeah, they women be attracted to us. Yes, they do. I know this personally. They be attracted to us. You know what I'm saying? And they men be attracted to us. But for the most part, you're not gonna see that intermixing thing. They gonna stick. They gonna be what they are. But us, oh boy, come on, man. We don't understand that concept. We think that's wrong. To be like, nah, man, I only deal with my own women. That's all I deal with is my own women. That's what I deal with. That's what I prefer. My own women. You know what I'm saying? Have I met some cool people in other nations? Of course. It's like, you know what I'm saying? There's cool people everywhere. Pretty people in other nations, yes. But I only deal with my own women. That's just who I am. You feel me? Why are we talking like this now? Well, because we've crossed over into the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the reality of the mind. So all of these things that we're dealing with in our world today are different alternate realities of our mind that are taking precedence over the physical reality that we're living. So we're literally turned off to the 3D world, and we're only existing within a neural network, which sets us up for a digital. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all who real. I'm gonna show y'all. By the time we get done with all this, y'all gonna see who real and who not real. Because one thing you're not gonna do now, you can get up here and you know, you can fake the funk with music and act like you this with rap and all this other kind of stuff. When it comes to the spiritual reality, we're not gonna play with this. This ain't gonna be played with. You're not gonna play. There's too many people out here playing over this like it's something that you could just get up and make money out of. Everybody, you know, I got buy my product, buy my this, buy my products, buy my this. Man, come on, man. What are you giving me? Because I'm telling you something. Now look now, especially black people. I want you to pay attention to me. Because you see my picture right up there in the corner. I'm not black. I don't know what the fuck you mean. I'm not black. But you black people. First of all, I know when I say I'm not black, everybody gonna take that the wrong way. You don't understand. One thing they're never gonna tell you is how to separate yourself from everybody else. Just listen. If they're sitting in front of you looking like how I'm looking right now, and they're not telling you that you need to separate yourself from every other nation. Now go back and look at your spiritual leaders now. Majority of them are not telling you to separate yourself from any other nation. Why? Because they got to make sure that check come in. You feel me? They got to make sure that check roll in. That's their bread and butter. They need everybody paying. You get these card readers out here. They reading cards for you, but they reading this generalized statement. You feel me? They know it don't pertain to all these nations around the world. They don't, but they not going to tell you that though. They won't say it. Why? Because they got to get their check. If you living under ideology of cream, cash rules everything around me. Cash don't rule the spirit world. Cash can't rule the spirit world. And the spirit world is everything around you. Fool. And how do you measure this? How do you know I'm not just talking out the side of my neck? Well, you show me one person that's died and took the money with them and now they spending the money in heaven. I want to see it on the other side. They spending the money on the other side. Show me that person. Show me that person that got buried with hundreds of millions of gold coins and dollars and all this other kind of stuff, and you can go dig them up 150, 200 years later and that stuff still sitting right there. So cash don't rule everything around you. That's an illusion. It's not cash they after. It's control. Control is invisible. But what are you controlling? Well, what has gone invisible? Remember now, we in the mind. So what is going invisible? How about gold and silver? Where's the gold and silver? You see these people running around here with gold chains on them, man, it's gonna be fake. These dudes running around here with all these different necklaces and shit. Moissanite will register as diamonds on a diamond tester. Moissanite. That is a lab-created stone. It's not even a real diamond. Then these dudes be wearing gold coated in silver. I mean, silver coated in gold. Silver coated. That's what you see. It's an illusion. It's not real. The real value has become invisible. What does that mean? So when you look for value in things, where's the silver and gold? It's gone. It's invisible. So now, even if you come across something that's, and I'm talking to black people, if you come across something that's gold, that's not a gold chain or ring or teeth or something like this. Let's say, for instance, you become aware of antiques, and you go down to your local shop and you buy a lamp that has been gilded in gold from 1700s, and you bought that. Okay. All right. Let's say like 2 years down the line, you say, you know what, I need some money, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell my lamp. So you go to sell the lamp. Soon as you walk in the door, everybody looking at you like you stole it. Again, we're talking about the mind. What does that do to your mental state? When soon as you walk in the door with something of value, the first thing everybody thinks is that you stole it. You gotta understand who and what your enemy is, dog. And it's not gonna be given to you through no cookies and rainbows. That's not the way it works. You have to be given the harsh reality of life at some point in order to grow. Pain is growth. No pain, no gain. Not give me a bunch of fluff and ice cream and then I'm still supposed to grow with that. Who do you know that's grow up eating only ice cream and cookies and cake? It don't work like that. The vegetables, the nutrients, the bitters is what helps you grow. You need nutrients to grow. Because growing is not easy and it's painful. Black people, you must know who your enemy is at some point, man. It's the only way it's going to make sense because we definitely have an enemy. We've not stopped having an enemy. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand through the history. The enemy is just taking different forms throughout the years. First it was war. Then it was and through war came genocide. Then after genocide, they had the slavery era. Native American slave trade, illegal slave trades of Indians, where we were dealt with harsh punishment in the South and doing all this other kind of stuff, getting hung and nooses and all this stuff, castration and all this other kind of stuff. Deceptive treaties, lying, making treaties with this generation of Indians and then ratifying the treaty after that so that it fucks up the Indians coming after them. Makes life harder for the Indians coming after them by ratifying these treaties against them. Because all your enemies have taken the seats of power and control. Taking over our banking network that was balanced and healthy and turning it upside down in order to drain the Indians dry under the illusion that everybody is under the same type of tax codes and laws. Wow. You think that shit gonna last? Again, we're in the mind. We should be now on breath 30. The reality of life has to set in order to fall away. Okay? It's going to hurt. It's not going to feel good. You're going to begin to see shapes and shadows coming out of the darkness. They're going to start taking form. Because you have to see the enemy in your life. You won't see the enemy in your life. You won't be able to see them for what they are unless you go inside to deal with yourself. There has been a spell done over our people. That's why we're birthing so many of our race that are on this lower end mentally. Everybody is so vain. What makes you think that you're supposed to be walking around putting a camera on every aspect of your life at every moment? You can't even go outside and enjoy the outside. People will be in the club. You're in the club now. You're in the club filming the majority of the night. What are you? Are you being paid as a camera person? I'm confused. Are you at work or are you chilling? Like, which one are you doing? But then it also lets you know something, okay? Because, I mean, a lot of people do it across many different nations. Okay, so this is a thing. But it lets us know who's single. It lets us know who ain't got nobody at home. Every day you in front of a camera, every day. Every day, all day. You go in there and change your outfit just to come right back in front of the camera again because every day, all day, you're online. I'm telling you now, the public has invaded the privacy of the private world. And the internet was the catalyst. So crazy. It's crazy. But they say craziness happens in the mind. You feel me? The craziness comes from the mental perspective. So now one has to deal with oneself. It is impossible that all of these people out here are attracted to the other sex. That's impossible. The reason why I say that shit, they do things that don't make sense at all. Now you see a lot of these girls that were supposedly boys, but in a girl body, now they coming back. No, I don't want to be a boy no more. I want to be a girl. What do you mean? Oh, there's a choice? Wow. There's a choice. Now you're admitting and acknowledging that there's an actual choice to that life. Oh, okay. Because y'all be talking like you don't have a choice, like this is just who you are. But now a lot of you are saying that there's an actual you're choosing to be like that. Interesting. Choices are usually stimulated. Most of the times we take a choice that's stimulated by something. Stimulation. Okay? It's rarely organic. Most of the time we make a choice is because we're kind of forced to make a choice. It's like your mom said, "Hey, look, we about to leave this store. You can either get that Snicker bar, or you can get that Twix. Make a choice." You want both of them. Just being honest. But she said we about to leave, so either you pick one or you don't get nothing. Ooh, pressure. You feel me? Now I gotta make a choice. Like, so let me see. Let me take that Twix, Mom. Okay. That's the consequence of your choice, right? Okay, boom. But it's pressure. Now look, boom, pressure. You got men pulling at you, boom, right? But you're scared of men because of what you saw mama going through. Now I gotta make a choice, pressure. Man, you know what? Nah, I'm cool. I don't want to deal with no man. I'm just gonna make this choice. Shit weird, man. Again, we're in the mind. Mind you now, that used to be called a mental illness. There's a lot of things out here going on that used to be called mental illness. And now we're celebrating it as if it's actual reality of life. You think that's not an agenda against the mind? To trap you up as you're trying to take your elevation or make your meditations into a higher perspective? Of course. It's 7 p.m. on Friday. It's 95 degrees. Come on, bro. Come on. What happened to MC Light? She taught you something. What happened to Lauryn Hill? She taught you something. What is this? Lauryn Hill taught you something with substance and it was jamming. She only made 1 CD. That junk's still jamming to this day. What do we have here? What is this? Confusion of the mind. This is the most common place for people to get trapped up. A lot of people meditate now. Don't get it twisted. A lot of people take meditation and they do meditation. The issue is that they go, once they get past or outside of the pineal area, they think they've completed the journey. So they get stuck in that reality without understanding. There's more. You have to then strip yourself of all consciousness and awareness of you. Ooh. That's ego. Oh, man. Accountability? What? You know how many women we just lost? You know how many men just fell off? Accountability. You mean to tell me I got to take accountability for my ego in order for it to move out of my way? Oh, man. I have to face myself? I got to look in the mirror at me? Of all people, I have to look at me? In order to move on in the journey? That's why they say the path is narrow. It's not wide. A lot of people are not going to make it through because it's not wide. Most people get lost right here. I can't not deal with me. I don't even know where to begin. I don't understand the technologies that most of our mothers have put in our minds. I don't even understand the damage of daddy not being able to be around did to me. Why I'm thinking like a man. Why I'm trying to move through this world like I'm a man. Why do I feel like the world around me won't give me the chance to be a man? No. Certain things you don't ask for. Certain things you just are. It's for our women, and it's sad, but it's true. For a lot of the women that have their fathers around, their fathers are teaching them to be men because that is the way they think they're going to protect themselves in this world. Think more like a man. That's not the truth. That's not the truth at all. That is setting you up for destruction. Because why? If women think like men, there are no children. What? What do you mean by that? If women think like men, there's no children. I say this all the time. I get flack for it. But when you break it down, it's actually real. If women weren't ditzy, naive, and to a certain perspective, dumbfounded, dumb, there would be no kids. If women were thinking like men with logic, they wouldn't have children. Look at what's happening in China. You want to know why? Because a lot of the women over there, they hold feminine aspect, but when it comes down to the mindset, okay, you see? That's an equal dynamic of household. That woman is not going to, okay, dominate her man. Hell no. Well, I don't know about China, because China's different. China had their government control their kid flow. They still be having kids, and they'll sit up here and take them away from them and shit. So I guess that's kind of different. That's only really a thing in America. That's only really a thing in America where the woman thinks that she's actually going to be the man of the house. That shit is weird. It's weird. You're going to dominate your man. That's weird. That's weird. You know how it's going to be tried and true? And when it's going to make sense? Like this. Because the Indians have always been in war. Since about 1400 or something, 13 something. Okay, this is when the Africans were ruling Europe, when the dark-skinned Europeans were ruling Europe and they were making their way over here by war. Okay, through genocide and all their other divisive terminology they used to get over here. So, we've been in war since then. Notice I said we. The Indians have been in war since then. To this day. They're still in war. The only thing about it is that you can fight a war without shooting a bullet. You can fight a war under the auspice that you never touch anybody. But if you know, you know, because I know, and I know how they're using certain offices to touch our people without it looking like acts of war. But it's literally acts of war. So, okay, now we're in a war. So when the war comes to where, let's say for instance that in America there's now indicated martial law is now in existence. And you're able to do martial law in America. then we're going to understand what's been bursting at the seams to come into our communities this whole time. The issue is that the internet shows the world that most of our women are alone. Okay? Men are not even wanting to get into relationships with y'all anymore because of having to deal with all of the things that come with it. Our women will have a man that say they're happy this and the third XYZ, 2-3 other men on the side. And it's like commonplace. Okay? So you got that man taking care of you, paying everything, doing all this, but it's still them 2-3 other men on the side, which at the same time. Then inside of that household, he has no control, no power. If you have children outside of him, he better not say unto them, "You got me messed up." That it don't work like that over here. You a real man, you can't do that with. So the house is just completely divided. Then you also showing yourself to the world where look at this. I'm gonna put this in perspective, dog, because I'll be watching. I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. I see it. There's women that get online every single day. The more provocative the outfit, the more skimpy the outfit, the more showing it is, even when she's just going out in public. That's what fuels her self-esteem and confidence. Okay? That's what's fueling the self-esteem and confidence. How slutty she can go outside. How tight can your clothes be? How much ass can you show? How much, you know what I'm saying? Now they want to wear a fanny pack in the front, but it's like, why are you showing everybody your vagina? Why are you doing that in the first place? If you got to put a fanny pack in the front, then that means it's wrong. So just because society has deemed that it's okay, that makes it okay. That makes it okay for you. I understand your society has been hijacked by other people. So now what society deems okay is according to somebody else's standards. So you don't even know what's good for you. You just doing what other people do. And we wonder why our frequency is falling down. And we're still in the mind. We're still navigating the mind. This is called accountability for oneself. Accountability. Those of you out there that your mother is older than 50, 55, that generation, I want you to take your mama one of them bathing suits y'all be wearing now, one of them gym outfits y'all be wearing, and tell her to put it on and see. No. Most of them women like, nah, I'm not finna wear that outside. That's not, no. It's not moral for me to be walking around like that. Clothes made for the gym are for the gym. They're not for you to go out to the club in. Like, that's not the way that works. Biker shorts on with the little crump, because it's not the way that works. So what? And the reason I'm saying this is like this: women be wondering all the time why men do this, why men don't respect them, and all this other kind of stuff be going on. Why the men? Because when you go outside, when somebody can see you online like this, in a man's mind, we're like this: boom, okay, yeah, she look good, damn, she look good, okay, boom, whatever, she look good. I want to smash. That's what you're going to always get. Notice how all these women that's online, they all navigating the I want to smash dudes. They all of y'all navigating the I want to smash dude. All the men that just want to have sex with you. You got to navigate all of them and hope that you can come across somebody of quality while you're still broadcasting yourself in a certain way to the world. So you're literally telling the I want to smash dudes that there's nobody there. So now they all in your inbox. And to the woman that's maybe feeling alone or depressed or whatever, she's going to take that attention, especially if she's new to this world. She hasn't been out there in the streets like that in a long time, or been out there like moving around with those type of people and nothing like that. So now you're open to this stuff and it's like all around you. So who do you pick? Well, I'm going to play with all of them. That's what a lot of women say, especially when they're young-minded. I'm gonna play with all of them. I'm gonna get all of them phone number. I'm gonna play with all. I'm gonna play with the ones I like. You feel me? So they have 5 or 6 different men that they sitting up here talking to all at one time. Now here's the thing. Again, we're dealing with the mind. Okay? So we have to be mental because you're a woman. A man, his body is not made to intake things, only to push out. So what I mean by that is his ability to give life can happen multiple times in one day. For a woman's body, a woman's dynamic is made to take in. So if a woman can only produce life one time in 9 months, look at how much time expanded. The man can produce multiple lives in one day. The woman can only produce one life in or a life, or if you have like twins and stuff like that, it's a little bit different. But like she has a gestation period of 9 months. That 9 months, no matter how many children are born, it's 9 months, and it is only going to take that one genetic cycle. Now there are anomalies sometimes where you can get a woman having multiple sex with with multiple dudes at once in the same day, and she ovulates, and she catches both seed at once in the same day, then she gives birth to 2 different children. Like that happens, that's an anomaly. Okay. The generalized is she has the 9-month gestation period, meaning that she can only have the pregnancy one time during that 9 months, and then after that she still has to heal. Okay. A woman is not designed to take multiple men inside of her body within the same context. She's not designed for that. Not saying she can't do that. I'm saying she's not designed for it. Okay? Let me put this in perspective like this. Maybe it'll make a little bit of sense better. If you have a toilet, right? Follow me because it's going to make sense. There's one house. You have 5 people living in one house. And you have one toilet, one bathroom. And you're only allowed to clean that one bathroom one time a month. Yet, all 5 of these people is using that toilet every day. What's going to happen to the toilet? Multiple things going to happen to the toilet inside of the house. First of all, it's going to be overused. That's the first thing. It's going to be completely overused. So it don't even feel good no more. It's not even comfortable no more because it's overused. Okay, it's raggedy. Then on top of that, the seals are going to start to leak. The things are going to start to break because of the overuse. People don't flush the toilet the same way. Some people may jiggle the handle. Some people may slam it down. Other people may gently do it. It's overuse, so it's going to begin to deteriorate. Then, because of the fact that you can only clean it once a month, that toilet is filthy. It's nasty. You got all these different people using that one space all month, and you can only clean it one time a month. It's nasty. Okay? You could put what? You can get them little plastic covers and put on top of it. You can put it, the toilet is still going to be nasty. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever protective methods you can use without cleaning it, and the toilet will still be nasty. We're in the mind. The mind affects the body. Then on top of that, when you have 5 people using that one space, can you really build it to where you can love it? No. Most people decorate their bathrooms. They put their curtains up. They put their little, accessories up over here. They put this up over there. Put their little towels hanging up over there. This, that, and the third. They got the little soap dispensers. Make it all look good, right? Because that's their personal space. That's their bathroom. They love their personal space. They come home, they get in their shower. That is a good place to be. That's their personal space. That's their bathroom. If you have one home, one bathroom, 5 people, You can only clean the bathroom once a month. You cannot put any love into that space. We're in the mind. And I'm talking about our women. It is not conducive for y'all to be running around here thinking that it's going to elongate your life dealing with all these different men just because they're available. It's not reality. Okay? Because it leaves you alone. It leaves you broken. It leaves you unable to pair bond. And you cannot see the world for what it really is around you. You're taking on different people's consciousness. You can't be loved like that. See, notice how something back in the day, like anytime that they showed us images of love, especially when it came to our people when we were young and little, and we showed love, it was always the girl that nobody could put their hands on, that everybody, that the main character would fall in love with. It's always that girl that nobody could get. All the dudes chasing her down, but she got this attitude like can't nobody penetrate that. Nobody can touch her. It's always the girl that nobody can touch that the main character falls in love with. The damsel. And you know, we have movies that make the you know, the maybe the blunt or the lightheaded, I don't even want to say lightheaded, but like airheaded, kind of like, you know, harlot a little bit. She was like doing that kind of stuff with dudes until this one dude came along and he changed her mind from all that. Yeah, we get movies like that, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, what we see, the main female he's looking at, nobody can get her. Look at Friday. He wanted who did he want? What was that? That was Nia Long. That Craig was after. Nobody could touch her. Then in the next one, Carla. You feel me? Nobody could touch her. You see what I'm saying? That's who he was after. That's who he fell in love with. You can't fall in love with a woman that's spreading herself to all these different men. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. The world has y'all confused and mistaken, and y'all are the only ones doing that. The other nations of women, they know to cherish when a man loves them. They know to cherish that because it's rare. When somebody to really, truly fall in love with who you are as a person, it's rare. It's not, you don't find that every day. That's why most of these women out here are alone. They're not telling you why they got to depend on their homegirls and always be going to brunch and lunches and going to the club and hanging out all the time because they're really sitting there alone. Because the men they keep opening themselves up to only want sex. And the women is taking their attention as if they're in this whole social media age, as if there's some type of celebrity, because all of these, what they call them, beta men, is chasing them down just to have sex. Now look, this is the way it used to work. The beta male, or the male that know that he's out of his league, he normally would have to attain things and marry in order to have sex with a woman on a regular basis. You see? But now these dudes done got hip to the game. I sit back and watch it. They done got hip to the game. All I got to do is get enough money to spend maybe $300, $400, $500 on a woman, maybe $1,000, take on a trip there and there. She's going to open up. That's 90% of these women, because women equate that type of action with sexual, you know, that's the payment. It's an exchange. Oh, he's spending money on me. Oh, he doing this because what is that? What do they say? Money is the root of the evil. The money is not evil itself. The money is the root. The money brings the evil out of the people. You feel me? Oh, okay. So all I got to do is just pay for it. So now dudes is getting so bold. They like, hey man, how much? I mean, you might as well just cut to the chase. I don't want to take you out on no date. I ain't trying to take you overseas. I ain't trying to take you nowhere. How much? Just tell me how much. I'll go ahead and pay. Do you know what that is grooming and stimulating these women for? Because, mind you now, I said, the Indians have never come out of a war. We're still in a war. It's just a war that's on paper now. Nobody's physically putting their hands on us, except the police. But those are all actions of war that's hidden through paperwork. It's all acts of war. But we're not looking at it like that. You feel me? So our women are being groomed to be concubines and sex slaves for other nations' warriors. See, you don't understand. This is what I'm saying. That's why you can't. That's why Trump say don't close the border. Because these people are coming in rapists. They're not going to send their higher esteemed, higher thinking, higher functioning people. No. If you want to create genocide against a people, you send the most depraved people you got in your land. And most of them are in prison. Venezuela prisons was cleared out. Right before we got this influx of all these foreign people start coming into America. They cleared out the prisons in Venezuela and Costa Rica. They're empty. So where are those people? Okay. So when they give them the green light that it's cool to attack, who do you think they're going for? Every time they come over here, they come straight to our neighborhoods where most of our women are alone. Because why you know that? They're always on social media. Always. We can literally see into your life. It's you, the kids, they go to dog. I see your mama from time to time. If he's still alive, I see your pops. I don't see no man. And now, because you literally will take your phone while you're live inside of your house and walk right outside, I can literally see where you live. Jeez. I mean, could you make it any easier? I ain't never known a time where everybody was a celebrity. Everybody had to be online every day, all day, everybody. That's not real, man. Something else is going on, man. That's not real. There's something else going on. You feel me? Again, we are in the mind. This is a 100 breath meditation. The first 25 breaths was about leaving the 3D reality. Now we've entered the mindset of the mind, so things have gotten dark. Now you got to deal with yourself, your ego, your emotions, the things that are invisible that's in the dark, yo. Yo, what's up, cuzzo? What's good with you, man? I know you probably get ready for work and stuff, man. Shoot, man, have a good day, bro. Hey, hit me up when you get home tonight, man. But now you got to deal with yourself. You got to deal with your spirit, your soul. You got to deal with these things in the fourth dimension, or else you cannot move on. People get caught up in the third dimension. They start thinking about all the things going on in their life. They fall out. You feel me? They fall off. Then we get into the fourth dimension. We can't deal with our ego. We can't face ourselves in the mirror. We fall off. You feel me? Now you done got up to if you can make it to breath 50, now you're crossing over into the ethereal plane. That's a whole nother perspective. Are you ready to meet your ancestors? We do it on a daily basis, but we don't understand where we go. So a lot of times we have dreams, and in those dreams we have glimpses of people that have passed on before us. You know what I'm saying? Different family members, people, loved ones, people we love that show up in our dreams, and we can sit there and interact with them. You are now in the fifth dimension. See, the soul, most of our souls here, we got to think about this. The melanated soul is not a soul that's meant to be trapped in the fourth dimension, because the fourth dimensional space is the mind. So the fourth dimensional space is between the fifth dimension and the physical world. You see, that's the world you cross to get over into the fifth dimension. So when we have especially you melanated people, they have to feed us a trick in order to get us stuck in the third dimensional world where we just keep, what they call that junk, reincarnating right here. See, you melanin, whenever it passes on to the fifth dimension. This is the code. What's up, cuz? Oh man, y'all in today? What's up? So this is the code. The code that's inside of the melanin principle tells it automatically, especially when it's left without contracts, because all of this whole world is full of contracts. So once you leave your soul without contracts, it automatically moves forward into the fifth dimension. When we go into Christianity or any of these different type of sects, it gives us contracts. So we say, like, it's a mansion for every person, streets paved with gold, when I die. When I die, that's a contract. Because now you just said once you die, you're going to come back to the physical reality. A mansion is a house in the physical reality. Gold is in the 3D world. You feel what I'm saying? So you just said streets paved with gold. So now you're going to re-exist. You're going to reincarnate into a world where streets are lined with gold. You just put that in your mind. You see, that's why it's not necessary. That's why when Jesus was on the mountain and the devil came to him and said, bow down to me and you have everything you can see. Jesus said, why would I bow down to you for what my Father already gave me? Okay, so let's break it down further. Because we know that contracts exist of the demon world. That's the demon world breakdown. That's where contracts come from. So why would I take this contract with you and bow down to you? Because to bow is a action called physical acquiescence. You bow down to something that gives authority of that thing over you. That's a contract. So why would I bow down to you when I'm already standing under my Father, who is giving me everything that I can see? Why would I make a contract with you for? That's going to trap my soul in this reality. Do you understand now why all the whole music thing is breaking down? These people have written contracts with demons. You feel what I'm saying? That those demons, those contracts are now being burned alive because they're fraudulent. So once the people realize that fraudulency is going on around them, they stand up. And when they stand up, the things that are built on their backs must fall down. So the demonistic contracts that have existed for these people to have control and reign are coming to a close, and they're breaking apart. This is because the reality of the people, the soul, is waking back up to what's real. You understand? The reality. Not saying that a person can't live a good life, being religious or do, whatever. Yes, but you're still a slave. Because, and this is not by my word, this is by the word. You have to go read what's going on in the Vatican. The Vatican charters state that the Pope is in charge of every world religion. There is not one world religion that is outside of the Pope's control and domain. The only thing that the Pope cannot control is what the Indians were worshiping. That's why they had to convert them all to Christianity in order to gain control over those people's minds. You feel me? Because what they were studying before that, the Pope and the Vatican had no control over it. That is the true and living. You feel me? So they done took us and made us into demons in the Bible for worshiping the true and living, and then gave us the actual demonistic code that we contracted ourselves to, and now we're worshiping gods outside of the original Father and the original author of this environment. That's what we're doing. So we're literally committing sin and we don't know it. So once these things fall, our frequency has been brought down to that of our enemy. And now because they brought our frequency down, we have to suffer with them just the same. It's time to step away from it. You step away from it. Then when you step away from it, take a breath of fresh air and you're going to see what's really going on in this world. It is not what we think it is. It's not. It's not what we think it is. And the things that we have been taught all the way up until this point are now doing us a disservice in this hour. It's doing us a disservice for our women. Look at our churches, man. How many gay people do you see leading the churches? They taking the top churches in the country and breaking it down. TD Jakes messing with Diddy. All these people, all these things, all these receipts. This is not something that is of the Most High. Even Christ had to go into the church and flip it upside down because the people was in there doing things that was not the will of the Father. You feel me? And that is now. What is then is now. It's the same thing. It's time for us to start looking to a higher perspective. Then we're going to understand how to treat each other better, how to move better, how to utilize our resources better. And then that way we can actually establish something for ourselves that cannot be penetrated. That's what all this is about. You feel me? It's just time to do something new. It's time for it. The energy calling for it. We need it. You know what I'm saying? We've been needed it. And our ancestral realm, or our, what is it called? Generational, what they say? The generational curses or whatever, those things have all been laid to rest. Now it's our time to build something brand new, because that's the only way this whole thing is going to work. Otherwise, we're going to be victims of this of a digital environment. And when we become victims of a digital environment, it is going to be hard as hell to get anything done, because the codes are still listed the wrong way. Black, African American, this, that, everything that is not you. Feel me? And it's going to be war against those things, because the war against the Indians is to remove the Indians from the Indian status. Once you remove them from the Indian status, you can do whatever you want with them because they don't have no nation. See, once we go back to the Indian status, now they have to give us everything that's ours because they're literally standing on our shoulders. The United States government doesn't exist without the Department of the Interior. And if you notice the seal of the Department of the Interior, it is a buffalo, which means that they're standing on the original code of the Indians. Nothing exists without the Indians. And the Indians is us. Not them people out there talking about they live in teepees and wamp palms and all that, and these white men jumping around in these different color suits with eagle feathers. That's not an Indian. That's a liar. The Indians is the whole southeastern part of the United States. Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, okay? The islands. Then you follow that line and you come down the Gulf Coast. Now, no, we talking about the Fertile Crescent. So you come down the Gulf Coast into Mexico, where you have the Yucatan Peninsula. All of these things were controlled by the Mayas, Aztecs, Incas, and the Olmec. When you go back into the history, you understand the Maya, Inca, Aztec, and the Olmec were all eumelanated people. They were driven out of their land into the northern Fertile Crescent, which would have been present day Georgia, Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and the Carolinas. So everybody from the South, all the black people from the South, are Mayan, Aztec, Inca, and Olmec. We just forgot. We are the Indians. And it's time that we step back into what's ours. Because all of this stuff that's going on in the government, in the world, everything is about us. And until we realize that, it's never going to change. And that's all I'm trying to say. It's never going to change. We got to fix our status. We got to take back what's ours. We have to become men again. Not little boys that's looking for, a handout from the government. That's what babies do. We got to go tell the government what they're supposed to give us because there's rules to this and we're not following the rules. So how can we expect anybody else to follow them? You know what I'm saying? They're not going to follow the rules because we're not following them. And that's what's going on here. So, it was just on my heart this morning to come online, man. I had to come talk about it. Peace, that good breakdown. I appreciate that, cuz. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's time for us to just do things differently, man. It's time for us to do things different. Our grandparents, and it ain't their fault because they had to pick up what they could to bring us to a certain door, and they done brought us to the door. Now we can't keep walking their same footsteps and thinking that we're gonna get a different result. That's called insanity. You feel what I'm saying? There's something else going on here because if what they were doing was the cure-all, end-all, then our world wouldn't be like it is for us. Not exclude everybody else. I'm talking about just for us. Police kill us and nothing happens. We go into the bank to go get a loan and don't get approved unless we a certain type of black person. Come on, man. These people done literally took all of our stuff and then keep us away from it. That's crazy. Why am I asking somebody for what's already mine? You feel what I'm saying? That means I'm not doing something right. Something's off. Because I remember a time that Granny and them sitting around talking about what Big Granny Mama had enough land in Molino that all of our family members can live on it with a yard, come on, man. Something off. Something ain't right, man. And I done did the research and I done figured out what's going on. Our people done been removed. We've been removed from the Indian registrations. That's what happened. We've been removed. So as a result, we don't understand that food stamps and free housing and all these kind of things that are awarded to the Indian groups is only supposed to be coming to us only. That this whole stimulus package that they done took and broke down over everybody, where they feeding all these foreign people $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, all of that came from the lawsuit that the United Nations did against America for genocide of our people. And they took the money and now they're trying to spend it all up before the next president come in there, because when Trump get in there, he's going to show you that money was only for our people only. That's it. And the money was given to us so we can go buy all our land back. And these people done came and done infiltrated it. Now, you want to see it on the microcosm level? I'm going to show you. In Pensacola, we used to have a minority chamber of commerce. The African American Chamber of Commerce. That's what it was called. But now, we done got it to where they done had this new dude come in there, and he done got the name changed from African American to minority. When they change it to minority, now white women are eligible and Mexicans. So when you come to Pensacola, white women have went in there and cleared the funds dry. Okay? That's how this Studer guy got going in his, man, look, man, it go crazy out here. Then you looking at all these Mexican restaurants popping up all over. They taking the money from the Chamber of Commerce that our people had for years. This is when Granny then was young. It's always been there. But they've always had people that look like them that kept them away from it. You feel me? And now we got this whole agenda to feed the foreigners while our people sit here and starve and die. Now, a lot of us don't feel it because we go our own route, this, that, and the third. We say, oh, my life is good. But when you got to look at the totality of your people, that's why it's important for us not to separate in this hour. Because you can't see the totality of your people if you're separate. You can't. You know what I'm saying? When Granny and them used to pray for us, Granny ain't be all them, they would pray for us. They put a blanket over that whole area. So if something happened to you and you came back inside of that blanket of their prayer and protection, your energy will elevate again. You feel what I'm saying? Do you go back out in the world? We need that. We don't have that anymore. You know what I mean? We don't have people that are looking out for the totality of our people as a unit. We don't have that. We trying to break this thing down family by family by family. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Granny and them looked out for all of us together. You feel me? It was a family effort. And we need that again. We need to find that way again. Because that's the way we was raised. So we ain't supposed to depart from that. You feel me? You know? And that's the way we was raised. But I know it's gonna take a masculine approach to it this time. You feel me? That's literally the way that it's been left on us. It has to take a masculine approach, not a feminine approach in this hour. The women have been compromised. I ain't talking about them, but our women have been compromised. You feel me? And they keep up, you know what I'm saying? It's the way the womanhood is going right now that lets you know that it's going to take the men to push our family back into a different wavelength. It's going to take the men. You know? But I don't know how we got on that, but shit, man. I love y'all, bro. I appreciate y'all tuning in, bro. I'm finna get out this thing. But, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we at, man. And that's not just for our family. That's every melanated family in the South. Got to take the same dynamic. That's how we take control of our children. Stop all this unnecessary killing. All this, we got to take back control, but it's going to take the men. That's what it's going to take. The men. All right? So a little bit later, I'm going to be back on, man. We'll talk about the other end of the spectrum. We'll go past 50, and we'll talk about from 50 to 75, 75 to 100. And we're talking about 100 breaths of meditation. So when you sit down and you do these 100 breaths of meditation, you know, you can expect certain things along the way. You got to exit the 3D, go into the 4D, into the 50, exit the 50, and then go into 6D and beyond. That's a whole nother conversation, you know. And there is a literal leaving of the physical behind that has to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you reach your true enlightenment. All right, now we're going to continue to keep talking about this thing, man. But y'all have a good day. You know what I'm saying? And then look for me online later on. I'll be back. Peace.